Unfortunately, most of us are unable to solve our own problems. Sometimes we solve problems very quickly and we put a check mark next to the problem. Problems we cannot solve immediately and we put into our parking lot. And over the time, that parking lot almost overflows. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed. Sometimes we feel, I don't know exactly what's going on in my life. It's because you have so many things in your parking lot and those are the things costing you. There are so many problems in our life that we need to solve on a day-to-day basis. And most of us are getting paid in our work to solve problems. Whether you are an engineer, you are a manager, you're a lawyer, doctor, or an entrepreneur, you are getting paid to solve someone else's problem. And we do very well when we are solving problems for other people. But unfortunately, most of us are unable to solve our own problems. In this episode, I would like to help you one simple framework, and this framework will help you to solve any problem that you have in your personal life or in your professional life. Welcome back to one more episode of the Greatness Code podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about problem-solving framework. You can call this $1 million problem-solving framework. I really mean it's going to be worth $1 million in your lifetime if you apply this framework to any problem that you have. All right? Without any delay, let's get started. Sometimes we solve problems very quickly and we put a check mark next to the problem, which is done and we don't have to worry about it. But sometimes, those problems we cannot solve immediately and we put into our parking lot. And over the time, that parking lot will almost overflows. And where is the parking lot? That is here. And if you apply this framework, you will be freeing up the parking lot faster than anyone else. In any computer, if you don't have enough space, your computer is not going to be performing at its best, which is the same for our mind as well. The reason, maybe sometimes we feel overwhelmed, sometimes we feel, I don't know exactly what's going on in my life. It's because you have so many things in your parking lot and those are the things costing you maybe a lot of things in your life. And by using this framework, if you start eliminating one problem at a time, I think, by very fast, you are going to get your complete hard disk space back. So that way you will start noticing a lot of improvement in all areas of your life. All right, let's get started with this framework. There are 5 steps involved in this framework. And step number 1, define your problem on the paper. You're going to be taking a blank page and you are going to be defining that problem. You're going to be writing down every single thing that you know about the problem. The moment when you write down something on the paper, 50% of the problem is gone. That's powerful it is. So step number 1, define that problem very clearly. You be the director of that movie and you know how directors write the script of maybe the character. The same way you are going to be defining every single thing about the problem. And this is I think going to clear so much space on your mind. Even if you don't do any other 4 steps that I'm going to be sharing, by doing the step number 1 is going to give you a lot of freedom here in your mind. Now, step number 2. Step number 2 is the data dump. You're going to be downloading all the data points related to that problem onto the paper. And here you can use a mind map. You know how to use the mind map? In the center, you're going to be writing down the problem and you're going to be putting all the data elements around that circle. And you don't have to use those data elements in any sequential orders. So whatever that comes to your mind, just to put it there. You are downloading all the data points from your brain, from your conscious memory onto the paper. Sometimes some people feel a little bit of judgment when they are writing down those data elements. Don't feel that, because on the paper, it's not going to have any judgments. In paper, you're not going to have any fear. You're not going to have any criticism on the paper. You are just putting it. Be like the scientist who are just presenting all the things from here into this. So I'll repeat this. Step number 1, you clearly put everything on the paper related to the problem. In step number 2, you are just downloading all the data from here related to that problem and putting on the paper and creating a mind map. You are not going to use any fear, judgment, jealous, nothing. No emotions on that, because paper is paper. You're downloading there. Now let's get into step number 3. Now you have the problem and you have all the data elements. Now you are looking at what is the outcome that you wanted to have from this problem. You define 3 elements for step number 3. What is the good outcome? What is the great outcome? What is the outstanding outcome? So I'm using that good, great, and outstanding outcomes for that problem. So the moment you write down, you see the goal that you wanted to hit. For this problem, I wanted to have a great outcome. For this problem, I wanted to have an outstanding outcome. Depends on that, you can start looking for solutions. So step number 3, identify 3 outcomes: good, great, and outstanding for that problem. The reason that this step is more important, we can't hit a target that we don't see. If you don't see the target, there is no way that you can hit that target. The same thing, if you don't know exactly what kind of outcome that you are looking from this problem, you can't hit that. Maybe emotionally you know the outcome. This is the first time you are writing it on the paper. So this is like a really going to bring you a lot of clarity. I did this like at least 100 times. And every time I do this, I get like a goosebumps. I get like, aha, wow. This is like maybe my good. I think I should go for outstanding. So I increase my awareness towards the solution and the next steps that I'm going to be sharing about. So I'll repeat this again. Step number 1, you are defining everything on the paper. Number 2, you're downloading all the data elements and putting into a mind map format. And number 3, you are defining what is the outcome that you wanted to have for this problem. And you are defining good, great, and outstanding outcome. Now, let's go to step number 4. Now you know the problem and you know what is the outcome that you are looking for. Step number 4 is you are coming up with the 5 decisions that you need to make in order for you to achieve the outcome that you want from the problem. It's that simple it is. And this is where all the magic happens. Now, you're going to be thinking about what are the 5 decisions that I need to make in order for me to get out from this problem. Decision number 1, and you write down what is the decision. At the end of the decision, write down who is responsible for the work for that decision. Is that you, or are you looking for an external help from someone? So these 5 steps, it is going to take little bit of your time, but the moment you put those 5 decisions for that problem, you will start seeing that possibility of you getting out from that problem, no matter how big the problem is. And I use this with so many of my clients, and every time when I help them to solve the problem, these 5 steps are the non-negotiable steps. This is where all the magic is. Again, I wanted to repeat that again. You completed your problem definition. You got all the data points. Number 3, you got outstanding outcomes in front of you. Now, step number 4, you're going to be writing down the 5 decisions that you are going to be making right now to solve that problem. And also identify who is the person responsible for that decision. Is that you? Or someone else that you need to onboard. So write down that who is responsible for each decision. All right. So we completed 4 steps. Now this is the step number 5. This is where you are going to be reflecting on the entire problem. By this time, you already aware of the problem, and also you aware of the 5 decisions that will help you to get out from the problem. The final step is all about what is something that you learned from this problem? Every time when you get a problem, the problem is bringing you a big opportunity. And all the problems will help you to become a better human being, a better leader, a better entrepreneur, or better doctor, whatever the field that you are in. Every problem is an opportunity. And if you are not learning from each problem, I think you're missing the biggest opportunity here. So the final step, you're going to be taking few minutes to reflect on what is something that you can learn from this problem that you just solved. If you apply all these 5 steps into any problem that you have in your personal life, in your professional life, you will be really, really going faster and further in your life. Hope this episode helped you. And I want you to use this problem solving framework every single time. And also share this with someone and help them to apply the framework. It could be your kid, it could be your partner, it could be your manager, it could be your community. So that way they will get access to this simple framework and they'll start applying it. Talk to you soon.